let me first talk about the problems, and then I'll get to the solutions. See, 70% of digital transformation initiatives fail or don't achieve their full impact or their desired impact. Yeah, and this is research which has been done multiple times by multiple different research firms, consulting firms, and it's coming to this kind of a number. And this is quite, this is big. This is huge. Yeah. So every, if there is a $1 million project, like 700K are going waste, right? Or just kind of, if there is a $2 trillion of total investment on digital that is happening, 1.4 trillion going waste. So this is massive, massive, massive. And we have to understand that there are many reasons for this. Today, let us focus from a technology perspective. Yeah, from a technology perspective, what is happening? Of course, there is a very big reason which is putting the cart before the horse, right? That if start with technology, not with the business or the customer problem, we will get back to it. Yeah, but just from a technology perspective, there are 4 key issues that are there. Yeah, the first issue is, and perhaps the biggest issue, is around the data infrastructure. The data infrastructure in many enterprises is still a legacy data infrastructure, which is it's not suited for the volume velocity of data that we have in the digital world. The digital world is all characterized by this digital data deluge, which the traditional MDM-based systems or data warehouses are just not able to deal with. So what is the implication of that? That we talked about personalization, and there were questions of how do you make this how easier, complex is this personalization? Look, it is completely a function of the granularity of data. Yeah. If you are able to deliver the right granularity of data, you will get a very clear picture of the customer, and you will be able to deliver the necessary customization. But if the picture is grainy, yeah, it will not be effective. And that is the challenge with the data infrastructure as exists today. Yeah, that the data infrastructure as exists today is not really able to harness the amazing power of the digital data. Yeah. So, okay, so that's number one. Number two is the backend systems are a bottleneck. And again, I think we have discussed this in the earlier sessions, that a lot of the investment that has happened around digital in technology has been on the front-end applications, which are customer-facing applications. Why? It was, going back to Nitish's question, that was something which was impacting the customer experience very directly. Also, the front-end applications are easier to change. Yeah, whereas the back-end systems are huge and they are not easy to change. They've been there in many cases for decades. Yeah, even the subject matter expertise around these systems and why things happen the way they happen is lost. Yeah, so it's very difficult to change, and it's not just a problem now, but for the last 10-15 years, companies and consultants have been kicking the can down the road. Yeah, so I recall even when I was in McKinsey, and it's been now more than 10 years, and even before that, always, our view was that, okay, think of it as a multi-tier architecture, and in the multi-tier architecture, you basically focus on the top tier, and the bottom tier, you don't waste too much money on it, and you will create this middle tier, the mid-tier, layer, which will make sure everything happens, nice and easy. But we have really run out of that. The response time, the real time expectations which are now there. The backend systems are a real bottleneck for that. Yeah, so that's something which needs to be addressed. Yeah. The third is not about the technology itself, but around the processes, the IT processes. Yeah. If you look at the entire nature of digital, it is experimentation driven. Yeah, it is experimentation driven. So test, learn, adapt, test, learn, adapt. Yeah. And the IT processes are anything but that. And some of our core clients, which are like Fortune 100 companies, we know that it is, if we have to put anything in production, it is like an absolutely incredible process. It has to be scheduled weeks in advance. There are some 7 or 8 steps of approval you go through. So God save you. This is anything but test, learn, adapt. So the IT processes there's a lot of talk about agile kind of implementation, but at the ground level, there is still a very big lag. Yeah. And the final bit is about the legacy business processes. So these are not just kind of what is under the purview of technology, but the business processes. Because see, end of the day, the delivery of a final customer outcome is not just the technology infrastructure, but also how the business process works. Yeah. And we talked about it in the first session about organization structure and processes and how they're so deeply driven by a risk kind of prevention mitigation mindset. And therefore, you keep on adding layers and layers of control. Yeah. And as you keep on adding controls, you keep on slowing down the process. Yeah. So even if you have like a modern data infrastructure and kind of a modern stack, if your processes are antiquated and still stuck in the control mindset, still that is going to be a bottleneck. Yeah. So there are many issues one can talk about, but from a technology and operations perspective, I'm right now not focusing on the business challenges and digital transformation or the change management challenges, organization challenges, all of that. I'm just focusing on technology and operations. From technology and operations perspective, these are the 4 key issues. Yeah. Now the good news is that there is technology has advanced to a point, and there is a lot now which we have readily available, which if used appropriately can help solve these 4 challenges.